Hello everyone, it's DiegoDoom here. Today I'm bringing you another review. Today I'll be reviewing S.H.MonsterArts Gamera 1996. This version of Gamera comes from the 1996 film Gamera 2 Advent of Legion, also known as Gamera 2 Attack of Legion. If you do not know the history of this version of Gamera, check out my review for the X Plus Die Large Monster Series Gamera 1996. A link to that review will be in the description of this video. Be sure to check out the 1996 film Gamera 2 Advent of Legion, also known as Gamera 2 Attack of Legion. It is absolutely fantastic. S.H.MonsterArts Gamera 1996 is another fantastic release in the S.H.MonsterArts line. Gamera has a fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint applications, fantastic accessories, and a great range of articulation. First, let's check out Gamera's box. Now that we have Gamera's box out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at Gamera's accessories. Gamera comes with one plasma fireball effect part, a set of flying parts, and one flight stand. First, let's start with the plasma fireball effect part. The plasma fireball effect part comes with three pieces. First, we have the flame base. This flame base is the exact same base that came from our previous Godzilla Atomic Breath releases, so we already know how fantastic it is. This time around, the paint apps have more of a flame look to them. Next, we have a Tamashii Pole used to support the plasma fireball effect part. This time around, we have a pole instead of an articulated neck, which is good since the plasma fireball effect part has some weight to it. Finally, we have the plasma fireball effect part, which looks absolutely fantastic. The plasma fireball has a fantastic plasma flaming sculpt with very nice gradiated red, orange, and yellow flame paint apps. The end of the plasma fireball effect part is very nicely contoured to fit Gamera's mouth perfectly. To set this all up, insert the Tamashii Pole into the flame base. Next, locate the hole underneath the plasma fireball effect part and insert the Tamashii Pole into it. Finally, align the plasma fireball setup with Gamera's mouth and insert the end of the effect part into Gamera's mouth. When inserting the plasma fireball effect part into Gamera's mouth, be careful not to bump Gamera's tusks or else they could scuff or possibly break. Once you have the plasma fireball fully set up, Gamera can blast his foes with one of his signature attacks. Next, we have the set of flight parts. The flight parts consist of two arm pieces and one alternate waist. Each of the parts have a fantastic sculpt and fantastic paint applications. The arm pieces have a nicely detailed leathery sculpt with greenish-black paint apps. The fingernails at the end of the arm pieces have a very nice dirty bone paint application. The alternate waist has the same fantastic leathery sculpt with greenish-black paint apps as the arms. At the top of the alternate waist, we have the very nicely detailed olive bits of Gamera's plastron. At the bottom of the alternate waist, we have the open thruster ports. To set this all up, first remove Gamera's arms. When removing the arms, I notice it does take some force, so be careful. Once you remove the arms, also pull out the inner shoulder rings. Now, insert the flight arms. If you are having issues figuring out which side the flight arms go into, there are left and right indicators just above their sockets. Next, we have to remove Gamera's lower waist. In my experience with this figure, removing the lower waist can be very tough. The instructions suggest that we simply pull downwards on the waist and it should easily pop out. The method suggested in the instructions didn't really work out for me. The best way I know how to remove the lower waist is to first remove Gamera's legs. Next, grab the crotch area and pull forward and downwards on the lower waist. I think this is the best way to go about removing the lower waist. One thing I would absolutely not recommend, do not open the lower plastron panels and pull from the inside of the chest. If you do this, you run the risk of breaking the plastron panels, so do be careful. Once you have the lower waist removed, attach the alternate flying waist by pegging it into the slots, and that's it. Now that we have Gamera in his flight mode, we can now place him on his sturdy flight stand. The flight stand is a clear piece of plastic with grooves that tightly hug Gamera's stomach and stoppers that fit perfectly into Gamera's thruster ports. To set up the flight stand, simply peg it into the flame base just as we did with the plasma fireball effect part setup. Place Gamera on the flight stand and that's it. Now the flight stand is a very nice accessory, but I feel it's way too short and close to the ground. I really wish the flight stand had a porthole so we could peg in a Tamashii Act 4 or Act 5 neck. That way, Gamera could be placed higher up in the air and it'd be easier to take flying shots of him. If you are creative and able to pull off a perfect balancing act, then I'm sure this will not really be an issue for you. Now we have Gamera in his flight mode high in the sky flying faster than Mach 3, ready to chase down his foes or rain down plasma fireballs from above. Now that we have the accessories out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the Gamera figure itself. Gamera has a great range of articulation. First, let's start with the head. We can look up, down, left, right. The mouth can open up pretty wide. Inside of the mouth, the tongue is articulated. You may need to grab a small tool to lift up the tongue. Moving down to the shoulders here, the shoulders have a nice range of rotation. We have a slight bend at the elbows. The elbows can also slightly swivel. The forearms can slightly swivel. The hands can tilt and spin fairly freely. Moving down to the legs, we can kick forwards about this much, come out to the side this much. We also have a slight knee bend here. The feet can tilt and swivel. Then finally, the tail has a nice range of articulation. Inside of Gamera's plastron, we have the figure's main gimmick. We can actually open up these plastron panels and it reveals the ultimate plasma dome inside, which is definitely very cool. Now, I must admit, opening up these plastron panels can be a little bit nerve-wracking. The panels are a little bit finicky and often tight, and they do feel a little bit fragile, so do be careful. You'll notice when opening up these panels, some of the panels are on hinges while others are on ball joints. You'll also notice you'll be required to slightly twist some of the panels so other panels can clear each other, which can be a little bit tough. But if you take your time and open up these panels slowly and carefully, the ultimate reward is being able to have Gamera perform the ultimate plasma attack, which looks absolutely fantastic. When it comes to Sculpt and Paint apps, Gamera looks absolutely fantastic. Starting from the top, we have Gamera's very nicely detailed head. The main paint application is a nice greenish-black paint app. This greenish-black paint app is used throughout Gamera's body. At the top of the head, we have Gamera's very nicely detailed spikes. Next, we have Gamera's prominent brow ridge. Gamera's eyes have a nice clean white paint app, while the irises are a nice forest green. Gamera's tusks have a very nice gradation from bone white to more of a dirty bone white color. The inside of Gamera's mouth is very nicely detailed with various fleshy creases and folds. The teeth have a bone white paint app. The tongue and the rest of the mouth has a very nice flesh tone paint app. Moving down the body, we have Gamera's plastron and arms. We see the various body creases and folds on the arms. On the elbows, we have the signature spikes that have a gradated dirty bone white paint app. Next, we have Gamera's very nicely detailed large webbed hands. The fingernails are sharp and share the same paint app as the elbow spikes. Gamera's plastron has a very nicely detailed sculpt with dark olive paint apps. Inside of Gamera's plastron, we have the ultimate plasma dome. Around the dome, you can see the various biological elements. The dome itself is semi-translucent with a gradated olive paint app. If you're crafty enough, there is an open cavity behind the ultimate plasma dome, large enough to possibly insert a LED light. In the future, I think I'm going to try to insert some kind of light behind the dome, so hopefully I'll give you guys an update on that once I get that completed. Moving down to the legs and feet, the legs have the same nice various creases and folds seen throughout the body. Gamera's webbed feet are very nice, very detailed, and very large. Gamera's toenails share the same gradated dirty bone white paint app as the elbow spikes. Gamera's shell has a very nicely detailed jagged sculpt with various rough patches. The shell has a very nice weathered dark forest green paint app. Finally, we have Gamera's tail with very nicely detailed asymmetrical scales and the same greenish-black paint app seen throughout the body. As a whole, Gamera turned out absolutely fantastic. For the longest time, I was really hoping we could get a Gamera figure in the MonsterArts line. Now we have one, and he is truly stunning. Let's hope we get to see more Gamera releases in the future. Now, let's do some size comparisons. To conclude the review, S.H.MonsterArts Gamera 1996 is another fantastic release in the S.H.MonsterArts line. Gamera has a fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint applications, fantastic accessories, and a great range of articulation. This figure is definitely very nice, very neat, and very cool. I absolutely recommend picking this figure up. Also, be sure to check out the 1996 film Gamera 2 Advent of Legion, also known as Gamera 2 Attack of Legion. It is absolutely fantastic. This has been another review by DiegoDoom. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned for more figure reviews. Be sure to check out the Facebook fan page and also follow me on Instagram. Like, comment, and subscribe.